This could genuinely be one of the most fun golfing apps I've ever played with. I mean, yeah. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, before we get into it, hit that subscribe button, don't forget to like the video, and also let me know in the comments below what you think and whether you would use this, because I think this could be divisive. Anyway, what this is an augmented reality app which reads greens. Let that sink in for a minute. Okay, first things first, augmented reality. If you haven't come across it before, it's the process of creating an interactive experience through computer-generated perceptual information. That sounds quite complicated, but basically what it's doing is taking your phone, using it to enhance things in the real world, which you can see on the screen of your phone, which obviously aren't there. So that's augmented reality in possibly the most simple way I can put it. I don't understand it particularly well, but augmented reality. So what this GolfScope app is doing is apparently using the camera on your phone to read and understand the topography and speed of the greens, and then through augmented reality it gives you a real world and live view of the read of your putt. In theory. This actually really excited me. I suck at putting, I suck at reading greens, so this I thought was going to be hugely helpful. Obviously, the whole caveat to this is that you cannot use this in competition. It's not legal. You can't whip your phone out when you're in the Sunday comp or Wednesday midweek comp or whatever it is, and then start reading the green with this. But from a practice point of view, and from a pure fun point of view, and also from like a what tech can do for golf point of view, I thought this was fascinating. And this could be a really interesting app just in itself. So obviously I had to take it out, had to test it, which is exactly what I did. Tested it quite a few times now with mixed results, I think, is the fairest way of saying it. So it's actually quite difficult to get this whole thing on camera. So you might have to bear with me a little bit, but I'll do my best. So I've hit my ball onto the green. I think you can see it, just there. The plan is, because it's quite difficult to record both things at once, I'm going to put a T in the ground where it's saying I should be aiming, just to get a feel for how accurate it is. So it reckons straight, which I kind of probably could have guessed. It's also saying uphill, so like slightly uphill. But still, you know, it's right because it is definitely slightly uphill. So that was probably more me. I mean, it was definitely me. That I just pulled it a little bit, but credit to it, it was a straight putt. Let's try some more. Right, so this putt that I've now given it, I know full well it's not straight. So I've marked it where it said to aim to, slightly right of the hole. Let's see if it's right. I don't really know if I started it on the proper line there. The video will be kind of telling on that, but regardless of whatever line I started it on, it definitely had that shape to it, that slightly right to left, you know, not a whole lot of it. That was surprising, actually, in a word. So the first couple of putts were pretty simple. Now, kind of putting it through its paces a little bit. I've set up two balls, one with a pretty severe kind of swinging right to left,
but relatively flat putt. And then one which is kind of flat, quite downhill, but then hits a lip and then should, in theory, go a little bit right to left again. Let's see how it deals with these. Not sure it liked that, so I'm gonna do it again. One more time.
So like I say, some very mixed results from that. And honestly, I was slightly disappointed. I had high hopes. There is optimism there, because obviously it does work in certain situations. There are, you know, those long putts which had minimal break in them. It read them well, and it understood that there was, you know, there was slope. The putts were going uphill or downhill, which in itself is very impressive. And then the shorter putts, even with a little bit of break in them, it was working, but when I really put it through its paces and tried those long squiggly putts, which everyone hates, then it really did struggle. But credit where it's due, up until that point, up until I really started stretching it, it was doing pretty well. I was impressed, and I was loving it. It was genuinely blowing my mind. So there are a few features within this which are quite fun. Firstly, there's this green speed reading feature, which is kind of essential to the whole app in general, and it giving you the correct reads to the greens, because obviously if it knows the speed, it can give you a better read. That seemed to work fairly well. I mean, I'm not big on speeds of greens, but I can tell when a green is slow and when it is fast. And again, I tried it on a couple of different types of greens. I tried it when they were wet and also when it was dry. I mean, I was out on that day, when I really put it through its paces, it was very firm greens. I'd also tried it on my carpet, which is weird, but I know that my carpet is quite slow in comparative to most greens. So it did seem to work, that part of it. I mean, I can't say that the green speed reading was, you know, number or decimal point accurate, but it's quite a fun feature to have again. That's another little feature which is very new to this industry. People don't generally read the speed of greens before they go out and play. Yes, they'll have a few putts and say, oh, that's quick, or oh, that's a bit slow, but they don't know the exact number. Whether or not that would help the average golfer, I don't know, but it's just quite fun, I mean, I wouldn't want to use the word gimmicky, but it is a little bit of a gimmick at the moment, especially if it's going to make no difference to the way you putt. Still quite fun to have. I thought it was interesting. So to the nitty gritty of this, it's a £5 app. You know, it's not going to break the bank, but it's not free. And there are other features within the app which make it that little bit more usable. So like I say, it can be used as a bit more of a training tool. You can log the putts that you hit, and then it'll track your putting stats through this app, which is in itself quite interesting. I did find a few downsides with it. I mean, other than the fact that it clearly struggled with some putts which I was giving it, it did take quite a long time to really read the greens. I mean, it's quite a long process from start to finish. It was really interesting to see how it worked, and credit where it's due, like I said, it did work in some of those putts. It was giving me the correct read. Yes, I pushed it maybe to its absolute limits and was asking a little bit too much of it with some of the more slopey, longer putts, but I had to give it a try, you know? Wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't. I don't want to write it off completely, because I think the tech that's going in behind it and the fact that it did work on some of those occasions, 50% of the time it might work, that's quite exciting, because at the end of the day, augmented reality is still quite a new concept to most of the tech that you or I have. In the future, you could see things like this become commonplace, and just like we have rangefinders, maybe at some point in the future we'll be going out with augmented reality apps which are telling us how to read greens. We just don't know. But what it signals for the golf tech industry is quite exciting in my mind. And hopefully it continues that way, because, like I say, I was excited by this. I wasn't let down, but maybe I had high expectations which weren't quite reached. Let's put it that way. Anyway guys, that is all from me. I hope you enjoyed the review, hope you found it a little bit informative. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, let me know down in the comments below what you thought, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers guys.